Hello and welcome to another edition of the Scots Sports Show. I'm Drew Patrick, joined as always by Mike Fenner, and we start this show, like we start every show, with the Scots of the Week. Let's start on the women's side. For the women, the Scot of the Week was Edinboro, who posted an NCAA provisional qualifying mark in the 5,000-meter run, placing 8th in a field of 119 runners with a time of 17 minutes, 15 seconds, 75. The freshman was also a part of the Fighting Scots foursome that posted an NCAA provisional time of 12:06:19. Congratulations to Edinboro.
Congratulations to our male Scot of the Week from men's basketball, the redshirt sophomore guard Jamin Mason, registering his 4th 30-point game and 3rd double-double at Pitt Johnstown last Wednesday, where he went for 34 points and 12 rebounds. He became the first Fighting Scot with at least 4 30-point games in a season since 1995-1996, when his father, Tyrone Mason, and Edinboro's all-time leading scorer, was able to do so with 11 times. Mason then broke the school season free throw record against Clarion on Saturday with 144 makes this year, passing Billy Wade, who made 139 free throws back in the 89-90 season. He finished with 17 points and 4 assists against the Golden Eagles. Congratulations to Jamin Mason, our male Scot of the Week.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll start off the show with women's basketball. Don't go anywhere.
To compete for a championship in stadiums full with cheering fans and families. To give back. To say thank you for your support. To learn, grow, and prepare for the future. Ask any NCAA student athlete what they want, and this is what they'll tell you. Ask these student athletes, and they'll say with pride, I chose Division II.
My parents always said that a bridge is only useful if it can be crossed.
At Edinboro, I found a university that connects who I am to who I want to be.
A school that's affordable, with excellent professors and nationally recognized undergraduate and graduate programs who give personal attention to my success. Edinboro is also a place with great traditions and big-time school spirit.
Edinboro University. It's the bridge to your destination. Choose excellence. Choose Edinboro. Apply online at edinboro.edu.
My experience at Perico has been so great. I feel like it's really my time for school now. I tried going back to school when I first graduated from high school. I just wasn't ready.
It's closer to home. It's very much more affordable than the other colleges in the city. When I finished my degree here at Perico, it would provide me with higher pay. I can actually grow more in my company than I would if I wasn't going to school.
Perico College, affordable, career-ready education.
Welcome back to the Scots Sports Show. We've got a packed house now as we talk Edinboro women's basketball. I'm joined to my immediate right by Coach Stan Swank. Next is senior guard Lauren Hippo, and to my far right, junior guard Whitney Allen. Coach, Lauren, Whitney, thanks so much for joining us in what I just described as a packed house today.
That's great to be here.
So we talked last week, a couple big games. Pitt Johnstown on the road before a Clarion home game. First, let's talk about that UPJ game, a 79-75 win for your team. But it wasn't so easy, and you talked about it last week on the show. A win over that team at home by 2 points, and despite the fact that they came in as the last team right now record-wise in the West, they gave you some fits in that first half. Coach, what do you think they did so well to get out of the gates like they did?
Well, I think they were excited about the opportunity of playing because they, having only lost by 2 on the last second shot, I think they felt that they could beat us, and I think they were very excited to start the game. We got off to a slow start, and those things kind of snowball at times, and fortunately we came back and were able to get the victory.
And you were trailing at one point by 15 to this team in the game. What was being said, what was being discussed, and what kind of turned things around for your team in that game?
Well, I think one of the things that we really tried to focus on was just keeping our heads about us and not, losing our grip on the game and what we wanted to do and accomplish. We were very fortunate in that Michelle Yan hit some threes and came up big, and we chipped away at it, and we went in at halftime down 6, and so we felt like if we had it in single digits, we could come out the second half and win the second half.
And Coach, when's really the last time you saw a game like that where not only you come out of a 15-point hole, but your team led for not even 3 minutes the whole night and still was able to come away with a tough road victory like that?
Well, I think it shows the character of our team. I think our players closed that game out very well and showed a lot of confidence, and they did very well with it at the end of the game. They managed the clock and the time and knew the situations and just did a great job with that.
And then moving forward out of the UPJ game, it was returning home after a 3-game road stand and stretch there, going back to Macomb to take on Clarion in what was an 80-49 victory. Coach, what did you see in that one that was able to help you guys clinch a PSAC home game in the first round for the upcoming conference tournament?
I think we came out and played really well right from the start and just really took care of Clarion and handled them we played well from every aspect. We switched our lineups a little bit. Whitney started that game. She had played so well in the UPJ game, and she pretty much gave us a lot of impetus to do well in that game and get going and brought energy. And so we started Whit, and I think that everything from that standpoint, we got off to a good start, and it worked out real well for us.
And then Lauren, Whitney, both of you, how did you feel about that start on Saturday in the Clarion game after maybe not having that focus in the UPJ game to start things off?
I think it was nice to be back at our home court, and I think we play better when we're at home. And I think the environment too. We were playing for our cancer game and for Harley Bolt, and I think that kind of really got us excited for the game and came out and played the best that we could.
And then Whitney.
Like Lauren said, I think the game, Coach Schwenk said before the game that we need to understand that we're playing for a girl that can't play anymore. And I think for me personally, that really registered in my head thinking, gosh, I wish, I'm so lucky to have this position. And I think that hit a lot of girls on the team, and we just came out hard like it was our last game.
And as you mentioned, both of you mentioning Harley Bolt and the Wear Orange game, Fighting Scots Fighting Cancer, and then for recognizing her specifically, all the orange out there. What did you think of the experience and playing in that game and what everybody brought in terms of support for that?
I mean, it was a pretty special game because in my 4 years here, we've always done a pink game, and that's great. The money goes towards cancer research and everything like that, but this was such a personalized event that I think it just meant that much more to everyone.
Yeah, and it was nice seeing how appreciative her family was of the game. We raised a lot of money at that game, which makes it all worthwhile.
I think, if I could interject, that Coach Wheeler, Callie, really worked hard on that and really set that up. Her and Whit really worked hard on that and behind the scenes and made that a huge success.
And so now moving forward, you get a bye, an open date here on Wednesday, so now you're really getting after it at practice. A couple more games here in the regular season before you wrap things up. Seton Hill at home and then at California, 2 big opportunities before the conference tournament gets started. What do you make of this week now having more opportunities to kind of get fresh and also kind of retool things at practice leading into those last 2 regular season games, Coach?
Well, it's kind of nice because we're getting to take off a couple days this week, and I think we need the rest, and I think it'll allow us, it's a long season, to come out to Saturday's game and be very focused and ready to play. Now every game has great implications, whether it's, you're hosting a game or you don't know what's happening and maybe somebody else loses and you can bump up a spot, and so there's a lot of implications. So almost every game now is a playoff game.
And then Lauren, Whitney, for both of you, what are the things that you're most eager to work on to try and continue to get better at with this last stretch in the regular season to try and gear up and be as ready as you can be for those PSAC conference tournament games?
I think the Clarion game showed us that if we all come to play and give it our all, that our defense will really come together, and that's what helped us win. I mean, we kept Clarion to 49 points, so if we can do that with every team we play, we'll win every game.
It's good that we have these two games because Seton Hill might not be ranked as high, but they've beat some really good teams, so we know that it's not a game that we can just walk into and it will be easy. So these are two good games getting us ready for the playoffs.
And you talked about Coach Michelle Yon going for a career-high 28 points in that win last Wednesday against Pitt Johnstown, was named the PSAC West Freshman of the Week, the 5th time for her this season. Do you feel like it's safe to say whenever she's on, considering what else you have with these two players, with Anya, Katie, so on and so forth, whenever she's on, you guys are a pretty hard team to beat?
Well, I think, yeah, absolutely. I think that's correct. But I also think that we have several players that we become very difficult to scout because, like Whitney against UPJ had a double-double. And so if I'm another coach looking at the stats, I'm thinking, well, we've got to really cover Whitney, but then Michelle Yon has 28, and then, well, we have Lauren Hippo and we have Katie and Anya, and it gets to be a very difficult situation in terms of who you're going to guard and who you're going to try and stop, because if you try and stop one, then somebody else is going to have a great game.
So there you have it, Coach Lauren Whitney. Thanks so much once again for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
So off on Wednesday, they'll return to the hardwood 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon at Macomb Fieldhouse, part of a PSAC West doubleheader. They will be hosting the Seton Hill Griffins before going to California to wrap up the regular season next Wednesday. And that's it for Borough Hoops. We'll continue on up next with the Scots Sports Show. Stay tuned.
To compete for a championship in stadiums full with cheering fans and families. To give back. To say thank you for your support. To learn, grow, and prepare for the future. Ask any NCAA student athlete what they want, and this is what they'll tell you. Ask these student athletes, and they'll say with pride, I chose Division II.
My parents always said that a bridge is only useful if it can be crossed.
At Edinboro, I found a university that connects who I am to who I want to be.
A school that's affordable with excellent professors and nationally recognized undergraduate and graduate programs who give personal attention to my success. Edinboro is also a place with great traditions and big-time school spirit.
Edinboro University. It's the bridge to your destination. Choose excellence. Choose Edinboro. Apply online at edinboro.edu.
Welcome back to the Scots Sports Show. Now we move to wrestling, as we are now joined by assistant coach Cliff Moore. Cliff, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start off with talking about this past weekend. You guys traveled to Kent State for 2 meets against Central Michigan and Kent State. Unfortunately, we didn't come out on top, but what are your overview thoughts of those 2 matches?
We're a decent team, you know. We're a young team. We just got to keep getting better. They're just a little better right now. Those teams all are. We had our chances to win, and we just when you're not that good, sometimes those matches you can't overcome. So we just got to get better so that we can make sure we clinch those matches next time.
And in actually the Central Michigan contest at 125, they don't have a wrestler currently because he's injured. What was the decision ultimately to not put an Edinboro wrestler in that spot to get that forfeit point? Was there any discussion in that, or what was ultimately the decision?
I mean, when somebody doesn't have a guy on their team to fill, you take those points. You know, you just take those points. But we had a set policy in place for to not wrestle Sean Russell that match.
Okay. And in these matches, you mentioned you have young players. Tyler Vath wrestled at the end of both matches, and he did end up falling in both of those matches, but the growth you've seen in not only him but a lot of the younger players, what sort of confidence does that give you going ahead, maybe even past this year?
I think we do a good job always of having our guys improve through the years. It's hard to come in as a freshman and win, and we expect that from our guys, but it's difficult, and we understand that, and we just got to keep making them improve, and you know, stepping in as a freshman is a difficult task no matter how good you are. So we expect more out of them. We hope they expect more of themselves, but you always got to kind of take a step back and analyze and just keep moving forward, improving.
And also on your coaching staff, along with you and head coach Tim Flynn, you have Mitchell Port, who is 1 year removed from being a member of this squad. How has that, especially in the players who had him as a teammate, how have you seen that transition from teammate to coach from Mitchell Port?
I think wrestling's a pretty unique sport to coach in because you are very close to the team. You know, you're in there wrestling with them every day. You're not just instructing them a lot of times. You're demonstrating. You're getting in there and basically hands-on, really what it is. So it's great to have a young guy in there like him, you know, that loves to get in there and be on the mats constantly, and that's what he likes to do. And that's one reason why he was such a great wrestler, and that's what'll make him a good coach.
Now, Coach, upcoming, you have West Virginia coming to Macomb Fieldhouse Saturday night. Should be a great match at 7 o'clock. What are you seeing out of West Virginia? What are you expecting from their guys?
Did we wrestle them this year already? No, we saw them. I'm trying to think of where we saw them. We wrestled them a couple times. We had a couple matchups with them down at Southern Scuffle, and we lost. I know 174 we lost, close one. So that new coach been there 2 years now. I think he's getting them wrestling hard. They wrestle hard. I think there's gonna be a lot of tight bouts. You know, it's our last home duel of the year. It's senior night at Edinboro, so hopefully we can get a big fan base and pump up the crowd and support the team and get a win.
And one of those matchups that we have is, you mentioned Sean Russell earlier on, but Sean Russell is against the defending national runner-up Zeke Mosey. What sort of have you seen from him to approach this matchup against someone who is an All-American and was in that championship?
I think we try to approach every match the same way, and that's helps maintain consistency and maintains your everything. Maintains your stress levels, maintains your physical, and mental strength and stuff. So toward the end of the year, hopefully, we're getting stronger and he's getting weaker, and we can close the gap on those guys, because Sean right now hasn't proved that he can beat top 10 guys right now. So we think he's capable of it. He's just got to go out and do it.
And also, since Edinboro won the EWL in the dual meets, they get to move on to the College Bowl Series, where this year we will be facing Ohio State, a team who is the defending national champs, and we saw last year in Macomb Fieldhouse. So what kind of excitement have you seen from your wrestlers for that opportunity to go against a great Ohio State team on Monday?
We're just thinking about West Virginia right now. It was great to clinch the EWL title, especially with a younger team, and it shows that we can reload right away and compete in the conference. And there's a couple of other decent teams in our conference right now, and it showed our consistency in our duels. Some teams had some upsets or some losses that maybe guys were in and out of the lineup that aren't staying healthy, and I think our teams stayed healthy well this year. And it's just another matchup to where guys can kind of see where they're at with guys in their weight class, and to look toward nationals. So we're getting close to that. Mm-hmm. So.
And speaking of guys in and out of the lineup, to touch finally on having Austin Matthews and Vic Avery back in the lineup, what does that do to this team's psyche, or what does that do to this team's confidence, especially late in the season when it gets down to crunch time towards the national championships?
Well, it's Vic Avery's a senior, and he's a leader, so we need him in the room, and obviously he's been there for a while, but It's a confidence builder for all the guys in it, and you know he's pretty much, for the most part, pretty solid, you know, guy to guarantee a win. So you know, with only 10 weight classes in a duel, in every win that you can be a guaranteed win is important.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for joining us here today, and we wish you the best of luck this weekend against West Virginia, excuse me. If you want to hear that matchup and you can't make it out to Macomb, make sure you tune in to WFSC, where Tubby Schmidt and myself, we will have the call on that one. And don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we will continue on with the Scots Sports Show. Don't go anywhere.
My experience at Perico has been so great. I feel like it's really my time for school now. I tried going back to school when I first graduated from high school. I just wasn't ready.
It's closer to home. It's very much more affordable than the other colleges in the city. When I finished my degree here at Perico, it would provide me with higher pay. I can actually grow more in my company than I would if I wasn't going to school.
Perico College, affordable, career-ready education.
Thank you so much for watching the Scots Sports Show. But before we end it, as always, let's take a look at the upcoming schedule of events. Starting on Thursday, the swim team is in Lock Haven for the PSAC Championships. They're going for gold there. On Friday, the track and field team will play host and the Mike Zarofsky Dome to the Edinboro Invitational on Saturday. Both basketball teams are in action against Seton Hill. It's senior day over there. Also, wrestling, take your whole day and spend it in Macomb, because we have the basketball games in the morning, and then at night at 7 o'clock, we have wrestling. West Virginia comes into town to take on the Fighting Scots. Also, tennis goes against Walsh University. That match is in Erie. And then men's track and field is in action as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic week. And remember to root for your Borough Athletics. Go Borough.
To compete for a championship in stadiums full with cheering fans and families. To give back. To say thank you for your support. To learn, grow, and prepare for the future. Ask any NCAA student athlete what they want, and this is what they'll tell you. Ask these student athletes, and they'll say with pride, I chose Division II.